I'm Mallory Cohentois. I'm VP of Growth at Maven, and I've previously been part of early stage teams at Pinterest, Compass, Cameo, Medify, and Mercury. I've spent most of my career thinking about community-led growth in some capacity. I started from an operations and data perspective, but always thinking about early stage growth and go-to-market. But I was a psychology major in college, and I've always been really obsessed with human psychology and how it relates to the things that we do and why we love certain things and why we respond to certain things. And so for me, as I've worked at these different companies and seen them go to market and seen them develop these super fans and these champions and these people who can't wait to talk to you about the product, it clicked for me that that human psychology piece, especially as technology and data and tracking were getting better and better and better, that we were actually starting to lose sight of that psychology and focus more on things like your ICPs and your personas and your data. And so something that I have focused on quite a bit is really bringing that human aspect back into bringing products to market and designing products and thinking about what the actual human experience is of going through those products. So that's where the idea of community-led growth sort of came from. Obviously, product-led growth has been around for a long time. We've been doing community-led growth forever. It really is, it's just lacked a name, I think, for a long time. And the thing I love about it is that it's really about finding the human beings who need your product and resonate with it so deeply, and finding those intersection points where you can connect with them in a way where they're going to be so excited to walk out and talk to their parents about it, talk to their friend, talk to their coworker, write about it online. And so I spend a lot of time teaching people how to identify those archetypes of humans that your product is going to resonate with that way, and how to make it more likely that they're going to go out and talk to people about what you're building and drive that growth on your behalf. I've been teaching a course on community-led growth for months now. I'm on my 4th cohort, and as I've brought more students through it who are working on a variety of things, variety of projects across nonprofit, B2B, B2C, different types of consumers, different types of customers, I've realized that community-led growth actually isn't the right strategy 100% of the time. And what is the right strategy 100% of the time, in my opinion, I'm now calling human-led growth. And I think community-led growth was my initial understanding and solution for that. But community-led growth specifically is about activating groups of people and getting people to connect with each other and build out those groups over time that are related to your product or your brand, which does work really, really well for both B2B, B2C, all types of businesses. However, it's just not always the answer, and it's a little bit case by case. But I think what works really well about it is the human aspect and is that connection to the human psychology of your user. And I think there are versions of what we're calling human-led growth now that are product-led growth, that are paid campaigns, that are social campaigns, and it's really about integrating those under the umbrella of the concept of human-led growth with a focus on human emotion, human motivation, what they get excited about, what is missing in their lives, and really deliberately designing what you're doing around filling those white spaces for them and connecting in a way that feels more human than simply showing them a tool on the internet or having them run through a user onboarding flow or giving them a refer a friend link. As AI becomes more prevalent, and as we start to question what is human, what is written in GPT, what's algorithmic, what was conceived on somebody's walk at the end of the day, that human-led growth aspect of a brand can be a real differentiator now, more so than ever, because people want to feel seen as a human. And they can tell, it resonates. There is just a higher kind of frequency of a brand that sees and talks to a human being versus runs something through an algorithm and categorizes you as a type of human being. And so I think the more brands can lean into this human-led growth mentality and mindset and filter as they are thinking about their growth tactics, the more likely they are to stand out in the market, whether they are selling a B2B SaaS software or the next consumer social app, or they're starting a nonprofit, or they're building a CPG brand. That human-led growth filter and that focus on the psychology and the mindset and the experience of your users or your customers is really going to set you apart from the rest of the companies out there. The main piece of advice that I give founders as they're thinking about how to implement human-led growth, or just the filter of human-led growth into their current growth tactics, into their go-to-market tactics, or into a future project or a future strategy, is you have to find those super users, those champions, and really understand them better than anybody else understands them. Understand what they've been through, understand what they're going through, understand how they feel, understand their stresses, their concerns, what makes them happy. Do they know other people like them? Can you help make those connections? The idea of finding these potential super users and activating them and being that entity that shows up for them, or that human for you as a founder. If you as a founder can show up as a human being for these people and say, I see you, I understand you, I'm building something for you, that is one of the best first steps you can take here. And so that can look different for different stages, right? So if you already have an existing user base, you can use the data you have to find your super users, the people that are using your product more than anybody else, or the people that are hacking your product to use it in new and interesting ways. Those are your people. Go talk to them, connect with them, figure out how you can make them feel something and feel that something really positive about what you're building. If you don't have users, or if you're pre-market or pre-product or whatever it is, you have to do the work to take a really educated guess around who your future super users are going to be. So that means going and finding people that are talking about values-aligned topics on the internet, right? Or people you know who you know is your like ideal future customer. Go talk to them and like really do that profiling work and really do the work to understand them. Once you do that, you can back out into what are we leaning into in the onboarding flow? What copy is going to resonate the most with these people? What is a unique go-to-market strategy that we might be able to use where they feel like, oh my God, I don't even care what these people are building. They clearly get me. I'm along for the ride. And so I think the first piece of tactical advice I would say is go find those people, talk to them, figure out what one thing is that you could do for them that is really going to take them from A to B in terms of how excited they are about you, your vision, and your product. One of my favorite things about teaching community-led growth, human-led growth, is most of the time you can do this for free. It's often, there's a whole range of ways you can do this. You can do this as a $1 million campaign. You can do this as a grassroots effort. And so for so many startups that are budget constrained, the idea of activating human beings to go talk about you to other people, while it feels big, it feels hard, because it is hard. Connecting with other humans and doing that work is hard and intense. If you can get that flywheel going, you're not going to have to do those big, expensive paid campaigns. You're not going to have to go and try to battle the algorithm. You're going to have these super fans that are doing that work for you. I actually tell people to think about it like an IRL lookalike campaign, right? You're finding your ideal customers, and then you're saying, hey, go find me 100 more of you. And a lot of times they'll do it for merch. They'll do it to get to attend a gathering with other people like them. They'll do it for an exchange of information. They'll do it because you're raising them up in their talents. Like there's so many ways to create exchange of value with those people that's going to feel so much higher ROI than just running a paid campaign or any of your traditional growth tactics. As I continue to evolve my thinking here around human-led growth and how it relates to community-led growth and product-led growth and all those things, I would love to connect with you on LinkedIn, especially if you're thinking about these sorts of things or if you've had any unlocks here. I love hearing stories from founders on how they connect with their users in really unique ways to drive growth.